Hello everyone, this is Flip here for another tutorial. Today, I'll be covering the scripting part of writing a story. Now, what's the use in coming up with a machinima idea if you can't even get it down on paper? Or rather, on your monitor for that matter. Now, we know the basics of writing theory. Now we actually need to write some stuff down. For that, we're gonna need a screenwriting software. As your English teacher, and well, probably every other teacher you've had when doing research papers will tell you, Wikipedia is not exactly the most reliable source of information. But you know, for quick searches and info, it's pretty alright. So, a good list of potential screenwriting software is, well, Wikipedia's page titled List of Screenwriting Software. When writing a script, the software that you use is important. It's best to get used to one specific software instead of learning so many that you can't remember anything. One of the programs that I recommend is Adobe Story. It's free, easy to use, and very customizable. It does most of everything for you, even keeping track of the individual scenes. I'd recommend this for anyone, both beginners and those who have been writing scripts for a while. One of the other programs I tried was Celtics, and when I first tried it, it was free, and sure, alright, a free software, but now I come back a few years later, and it's a paid program with only a 15-day trial. At least I don't remember it only having a trial. But basically, from what I can remember, it was pretty good, but you know, there are better free software out there, honestly. Next is Final Draft. This is also a paid program, but I've heard good things about it as it has templates for film, TV, theater, and others like novels, graphic novels, and manuscripts. So there you go. However, it's way too expensive. But I mean, you know, there are other ways of getting it. But I, as a representative of the Digital Shadows, cannot in good faith recommend breaking the law. I won't go over any of the other programs just for the sake of time, so you can check out the list for yourself and see if you find anything that suits you personally. If you don't feel like downloading, bothering to register for anything, or you just want something a little bit more simple, you can always use Notepad, WordPad, or any old word processor like Microsoft Word or CorelWrite for the two people who do use Corel, right? I personally use WordPad, which is simple for me, and you know, staying humble and all, I know how to write and format script without any of those other programs, just simply because I've been doing it for a while. Shout out to the boys over at Google, because lately I've been using a whole lot of Google Docs for writing. Whenever I'm at school or something, I can just access my files from my Google account. I can even write stuff when I'm on my phone. Technology these days. But in all seriousness, it's easy to use, easy to share with others, and readily accessible with an internet connection. So, for those who know what they're doing or just can't be bothered, Google Docs is great. Now, for those who are a little less experienced, well, I can show you the basics of writing a script. Obviously, you can mix and match and use aspects of this and form your own style, which I've done personally. Hey everyone, this is Flip here, and right now I'm just gonna do a live segment of this video, just for the sake of making this a little bit easier on me, because there really wasn't any not awkward way for me to do this. It already probably is awkward. But anyway, so here we have a script, more specifically the script for Ball RPG Episode 4. And I cut out all the other parts except for Scene 6, because, you know, I didn't want to give you guys any spoilers. I have the scene here, which is basically from my 4th episode, which has already been released as a preview, which you can go check out in the description. This is not self-promotion at all. So, here we have the title of the work. This is pretty standard. You just have the title of your work and then the episode number if it is an episodic series. You can also put your name, like by Flip, and then whatever, but you don't have to. I mean, they know who's it by. I mean, you probably put in the credits anyway. So next up we have the actual scenes. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with scenes, you may know the term cutscene. And a cutscene is basically a similar thing. It's just a specific point in time where action takes place in terms of the story. This is the 6th scene in particular. You don't have to write the screen number. It's just easier for me that way when I'm recording and such. I can just write screen 6 footage or screen 4 or screen 3, and I can easily just go to there and get the scenes for the specific, you know, get the footage for the specific scene. Next up we have EXT. Now this is either going to be EXT or it's going to be INT, which basically means exterior and interior. Exterior means it's a scene that's outside, and interior means it's a scene that's inside. then you have a dot there, a period, and then we have the actual location. In this case, it's Vetus or Vetus, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And then we have the cabin, which is the Jungle Jape stage, which I just called cabin. So you have a pretty general area, and then you have something that's a little bit more specific, separated by a dash. Now, you don't have to be specific, but it's recommended, and it's probably going to be easier for you that way, so you have a better idea of where everything is taking place. And then finally, separated by one more dash, we have the time of day. In this case, it would be the evening time, or maybe closer to nighttime. This is also to make things easier for you in terms of understanding what time of day this is taking place in, so you can make the script sort of revolve around that. Like maybe they're a little bit more tired because it's later on in the day or something like that, or maybe they're a little bit more quiet. I don't know. That's pretty much setting up the scene. Now we have the actual actions. Now, with actions on stage, usually in terms of the actual script writing, they're usually on the left, but I prefer them being in the middle just because it's easier for me to see and focus on that when it's in the middle. And I use brackets here just to make it a little bit easier to stand out from everything else. It's something I've been doing a little bit more recently. And one of the other things I've been doing recently is making note of the music that's going to be playing if I do know what I want to use ahead of time. So with stage directions, that's all they are actions or directions for, you know, me personally to do, to remember to do actually. So, for example, the screen shows Kenny sitting down. That makes me remember, okay, this scene has an image of Kenny sitting down at the cabin. This is not dialogue or anything, this is just an action that happens on screen. This right here is actual dialogue. Now, with the dialogue here, usually it would be in the middle. However, I prefer it being on the left. Not that part doesn't need to be on the anyway, that part I prefer having it on the left just because I usually read things from left to right anyway, not like middle to whatever. So I usually have it on the left there. Now, the name of the character will be in all caps with a colon at the top, and then what they actually say. So for Kenny, it's all capital letters and then a colon, and then whatever Kenny says would be right below it, and then we move on to the lexicon. And if you want to make this a little bit easier, you can add a space there just to make it a little bit more you know, signify that there is dialogue there, not just, you know, actions or anything like that. So that's pretty much the basic. The only other thing I would recommend you do is here we have a little sort of in parentheses an emotion or a specific tone or way of speaking. This is just to make it easier for my voice actors to know how I want a specific character to sound, because it's not like we're on set or anything and I'm a director who can just give them immediate feedback. It's just an easier way of me communicating to them how I want a specific line said. So in this way, Remy would sound very confused here, or annoyed, or joking, and so forth and so forth. It's just a much easier way for me to sort of communicate with my voice actors. And then there's the end of the episode. So that's pretty much it in terms of the basic formatting of the script.
Hopefully you all got some useful information about scripting. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate all the feedback I got from the last tutorial and everything, so thanks for the likes, comments, and subscription guys. I'll see you guys next time.